And that's the big FU, which is the old, like, again, this is why I am, all of Williford is me.
Obviously born Amanda Williford. Early times you recorded music as Amanda and then became Willa Ford at the height of like pop and pop fame. Now you're reclaiming your birth name in the public eye with this album. When you look back, what did each of those names represent for you at the time?
Yeah. So after much therapy, I can actually tell you exactly what those names represent.
Amazing, amazing.
So, I was born Amanda Williford, but most people called me Mandy. Growing up through elementary school, all the way to high school, I was known as Mandy. And then I started to become an artist, and I always said my mother, when I was in trouble, she'd say Amanda, and I thought it was kind of funny and to be Manda, so she wouldn't quite say the and so that's where the Manda came from. And then you'll see that on the Pokemon soundtrack that I'm on.
I have it.
I think that might be the only thing. Manda Me publishing has been around forever, but that might be the only thing that you really see that name on. Then, so Manda was there, and then I signed, I had been with MCA Records for a long time. I went on a writing tour for 2 years, doing that and writing for that amount of time. Mandy Moore came out on Epic. Mandy had now been claimed. It was too close to Manda and Mandy and Amanda, all very confusing for people. It was actually me that said, my last name's Williford. Why don't we just split it kind of in two, grab an A, Willa Ford. And they were like, great, sold. Everyone was like, great. One person didn't like the name. Everybody else was like, fine. So what I recognize now and what I've learned about the persona of Willa Ford, which I should also say is a very strange relationship, because I answer to Willa as easily as Amanda or Amanda. It is just part of me now. There's not really a weirdness about it.
Yeah.
I just need to go to a symbol now and it could get weirder. But no, I honestly, I identify. But at the time, I didn't know about some of the trauma that really had occurred for me. And what I was able to do by also having a different name was create something that, if I was so scary and so bad, and so I will own you and I will rule you and I will, because I have a softer side once you know me that you didn't see up front. It was like guns blazing, fingers flying up in the air, underwear, and so what I recognize is that was my protection mechanism. I never wanted to be controlled again. I never wanted to be felt small or like I did at that time. And it took a lot to all of a sudden, go through all the things that I've gone through and realize that's exactly what Willa Ford began as.
And so when
that hard shell that I created so that I couldn't be hurt.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. And actually, I mean, so it was like becoming Willa Ford was really like stepping into a character so that you could it was like about your survival.
Exactly. In so many ways, it was survival, right? For my brain to get through some of it, it was just survival, but I didn't know that. My brain had not unlocked what it was 20 years later to unlock for me to understand. And so we now know like how trauma can work in that way. I mean, it can be gone and then boop, hi, we're here.
Yeah.
So I think by naming this record Amanda, it's very purposeful because this record is when it happened. It's when the seizures began. It's when I understood the trauma. It's when I started to see some of the things that had happened and understood what happened to me. Not in its entirety, but a lot of it that I had blocked out for so long. Amanda is who I was born as. My parents are absolutely wonderful. And this reclaiming of Amanda is very important. I'm not leaving the name Willa Ford, but this record is the most Amanda of anything you've ever heard from me. I needed to put this record together. Whether it sells 5 copies or it sells 1 million copies, either way, it's not about success anymore. It's about legacy. Am I saying something in the world to change it for my children? Am I saying something to these people who need to be loved? Like, nothing else matters. Nothing else actually matters. Like, the fact that I even get any form of a platform from back then, and I'm lucky enough to have it now to embrace somebody in that way. I mean, come on. That is success. But I think the word success is like ever chasing and stupid. That word is not in my vocabulary. Legacy is the word in my vocabulary. And it's my body of work that I leave for people. And I actually think this record complements the first record when you use the word legacy, because it shows how somebody can go from that and somehow get delivered to this.
Yeah.
That is no accident. That is crazy. So, yeah, this isn't like I was gone for 10 years and I had a resurgence, or I'm putting out a new, record because I had a couple things to say. This is like, I lived a life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I decided to change it. So I do think they book each other beautifully. And I think it's a good message. You're 20 and this is what you think. Wait until you're in your 40s.
Yeah. What would, Amanda say to Willa Ford then, now? Like, is there something that you would say to her?
You're enough. Yeah. I think some lyrics on the record that I love How Do You Like Me Now? I think that is the unlock from being made to feel like I wasn't worthy, right? Put my worth in a box. I fought to pick the lock.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us, something tells us one day that we're not worthy, and we fight.
Yeah.
Sometimes we never get there, but we fight to pick that lock and find out, like, no. And that's the big FU, which is the old, again, this is why I am, all of Willa Ford is me, because I still, and it's like, how do you like me now? Your biggest mistake was thinking I would stay. You thought you could keep me down.
Yeah.
Like, remember when you called me a dreamer, hoping that I'd always believe you? That's why I went away. And with nothing to say, I was quiet.
Yeah.
Nothing. How do you like me now? So I just, again, I think if you really sit with the lyrics, you start to hear a very important story. And I think a lot of people have these similar stories.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's powerful, especially, because I was curious about, we started, the interview talking about identity and like the names, and you've had all these different names, and it's like, okay, like, will the real Willa Ford please stand up? And, which version is it? But it really feels like you're all of these people, but Amanda is like the representation of who Willa Ford has become, but also who she maybe always was.
Well, I think, you're born, and then you can be reborn. Because life hits you and you stop believing that you're that person or that you're meant for something greater. And then you can be reborn to believing that if you allow yourself to heal. So I was born Amanda. I'll always be Amanda. But yeah, I'm reclaiming it. And it was funny, to be honest. I remember at one point, this record was done and there was, remember, people like, maybe we don't tell people Willa Ford at all. Maybe we just release a record under Amanda. What do you think? And I thought about it overnight and I was like, no. The record's called Amanda. That's actually how it all, transpired. And then I was like, oh my gosh, that is brilliant. And it's like, no, I don't want to be called Amanda. Amanda's boring. It's fine. I get it. It's very 80s of me. But I earned and worked hard also as Willa Ford. So that's, always going to be my stage name. But yeah, I think, again, you're born, stuff happens, and you can find your way home.